Caregiving can feel overwhelming. Some days feel impossible. If you're caring for someone with Alzheimer's or dementia, we want you to know this. You are not alone. There is help. There are resources, and there is hope. Alzheimer's and Caregivers. Greetings and welcome. This is Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers, the not-so-sexy podcast. It's episode 107. Caregivers, we're glad to have you here today. I'm Jeff Edwards, your host, and welcome to June. Can you believe it? We're now just about 6 months away from Christmas. Yep. And for Floridians, that means we're still dealing with hot and muggy and hot weather. Did I mention hot? Yeah, I did. I'll get over it. Today on the podcast, one of the biggest challenges caregivers face after they get gut punched is figuring out, what do I do now? There's a lot to learn, but some of the most important issues involve legal guidance, things like power of attorney, medical power of attorney, trusts, wills, Medicaid, and more. Now, it's taken a couple of years, and not for lack of effort, but we finally found an elder law attorney willing to sit down and talk with us. Our interview with Ehren Frey from Zacharia Frey PLLC gives us a lot of important and helpful information that we're excited to share with you. We'll also hear about a nasal spray that may help repair brain function. Yep, you heard that right. Plus, we'll hear from Dr. John Huffaker in What's New with Alzheimer's and answer another listener question. This one is about the APOE4 gene. All right, let's get going. We are proud to be supported by the Neuropsychiatric Research Center, a clinical trial center dedicated to advancing research and treatment for memory loss and Alzheimer's disease. And the fine people at Heart, Body, and Mind Home Care, nationally acclaimed, award-winning, your best choice for home care. And live younger today. Learn how you can activate your stem cells for health and vitality. Check them out online at liveyoungertoday.com. If you're new here, our 5 tenets or rules are the backbone of what we do, and they're easy to learn. 1, you must take care of yourself, because if something happens to you, who is going to take care of your loved one? Number 2, you can't do this alone. You need help. Find a good caregiver group. Number 3, make a list of people, friends, relatives, or coworkers who have offered to help, then actually use it. Number 4, create a help signal. Identify a cue or phrase to confirm your loved one is comfortable with receiving help from someone else. And number 5, caregiving. Love it or hate it, it will be your life until it's not. So give it your all. Up next, researchers say nasal spray fixes brain problems.
We'll be right back to Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
If you find that it's time that you must start looking for a good home care company for your loved one, I'd like you to consider talking with Heart, Body, and Mind Home Care, a nationally award-winning company. They are top of the line in service. They will tell you service is their passion, excellence is their promise, and that's the honest truth. They are very knowledgeable and skilled at what they provide. On top of that, they are just really nice people who love helping others in need. They are Alzheimer's and dementia and Parkinson's care specialists. You can find them on the web at hbmhomecare.com, or you can call them at area code 239-603-6455. And you'll find a link for them on our website, gutpunch.com. Heart, Body, and Mind Home Care, your best choice for home care.
This is Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
Here's an article from Newsmax. Researchers say nasal spray fixes brain problems for months. It was dated Wednesday, May 27, 2026, written by Lindsay Allison. Scientists from Texas A&M University have developed a nasal spray that can reverse brain aging, potentially changing the future of age-related brain therapies. The team, led by Ashok K. Shetty, Associate Director of the Institute for Regenerative Medicine, developed a nasal spray that with just 2 doses significantly reduced brain inflammation, restored the brain's cellular power plants, and improved memory. The remarkable results, published in the Journal of Extracellular Vesicles, happened in only a few weeks and lasted for months. Quote, as we develop and scale this therapy, a simple 2-dose nasal spray could one day replace invasive, risky procedures or maybe even months of medication, Shetty said, unquote. Shetty says the innovative nasal spray may one day help the growing number of dementia patients. In the United States alone, new dementia cases are projected to double over the next 4 decades, from about 514,000 in 2020 to about 1 million in 2060. Quote, the trend signals a pressing need for policies and innovative interventions that can minimize both the risk and severity of neurodegenerative disorders like dementia, Shetty said, unquote. Shetty said that one day the novel approach could even help stroke survivors rebuild lost brain function or slow, even reverse the effects of cognitive aging in humans. Quote, our approach redefines what it means to grow old, Shetty said. We're aiming for successful brain aging, keeping people engaged, alert, and connected. Not just living longer, but living smarter and healthier, Shetty said. The nasal spray contains microscopic particles derived from neural stem cells that help reverse a slow, chronic inflammation in the brain that builds with age and contributes to memory loss and decline. Now, for the study, mice at 18 months of age, roughly the equivalent of a 60-year-old human, received the treatment. The treated mice showed reduced markers of brain inflammation and improved memory and cognitive function compared to the untreated mice, according to the Dallas Morning News. Now, the benefits were noticeable in just a few weeks and persisted for months after just 2 doses. Delivering treatments to the brain has been challenging because of a barrier that blocks drugs from entering the brain. Shetty and his colleagues used millions of microscopic biological parcels known as extracellular vesicles, EVs, as their delivery vehicles, carrying powerful genetic cargo called microRNAs that help modulate both the gene and signaling pathways in the brain. Packed into a nasal spray, the tiny EVs bypass the brain's protective shield and travel directly into the brain tissue, where the microRNAs help switch off signals that drive long-term inflammation in aging brains. They also boost the cell's energy supply, which may improve mental clarity and support memory and thinking, according to the tests given to the mice. Now, the researchers caution that more research is needed to confirm if the new treatment is safe and effective in humans. Shetty and his colleagues are filing a patent for the nasal spray and hope to develop a version that could eventually be tested in people. Quote, we aren't just trying to understand the biological mechanisms, Shetty said in a news release. We are translating and developing our findings into real-world therapies that could make a difference. Now, that is a very interesting concept. We're coming back with It's the Law, Ma'am. It's the Law. Meet Ehren Frey, an elder care attorney.
We'll be right back to Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
Your brain is who you are, your memories, your personality, your life. At the Neuropsychiatric Research Center, they're committed to helping you protect it. If you're 50 or older, you're invited to our free memory screening event where you can learn about a breakthrough in early Alzheimer's detection, the p-tau 217 blood test. This cutting-edge test may detect Alzheimer's-related changes earlier than ever before and is offered only to eligible participants based on screening results and family history. Why call? Because a quick confidential memory check can give you peace of mind, help you establish a cognitive baseline, and connect you with research opportunities that could change lives, including your own. Call Neuropsychiatric Research Center, located in Fort Myers, at 239-939-7777 to schedule your free memory screening today and see if you qualify for the p-tau 217 blood test. That number again, 239-939-7777. Your brain matters. Let's protect it together. The p-tau 217 blood test is available only to participants who meet eligibility criteria determined during screening.
This is Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
For a long time, I've been looking for an elder attorney who would take the time and talk with us about some of the most important topics facing caregivers. There is so much you need to know about the legal aspects of being a caregiver for your loved one. When I go to caregiver meetings, things pop up from other members regarding legal stuff. I was always scribbling notes, making a list of what I had to do. So I'd work the list I made thinking, okay, I've got it covered. But there was always something else, and then something else. So I knew I needed to find a good elder care attorney, and I'm happy to say I've found one. I met our next guest back in February at the McGregor Baptist Dementia Seminar. At the seminar, when the time came for the attendees to break off into smaller groups on topics they wanted to know more about, I went to the legal one, which was completely full, standing room only. Ehren Frey is a partner in Zacharia Frey PLLC. Now, he's been practicing for several years in Southwest Florida. He focuses on elder law, estate planning, probate and trust administration, and guardianship. But today, we're going to talk about elder care law and the important things you need to know about and why. I'm on the phone with Ehren Frey. How you doing today, Ehren?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Let's get right to it. When is the right time for families to meet with an elder law attorney after a diagnosis of Alzheimer's or dementia?
Honestly, the answer is probably yesterday. The moment that you get the diagnosis, you should be thinking about legal planning, not in 6 months and not when things get worse, but right now. Here's the thing that people don't realize. Alzheimer's attacks the brain, which means it attacks legal capacity. The ability to sign documents and understand what you're agreeing to, that window can close faster than families expect, and it closes without warning. The early stage dementia patients that I see can still absolutely have legal capacity to sign documents, but it doesn't last forever.
Right.
I've never had a family come to me too early, but I've had plenty come to me too late. And by too late, I mean we're now looking at a guardianship, court proceedings, and spending thousands of dollars in a process that strips the loved one of rights. And a simple document could have protected that. So the short answer to that question, Jeff, is as soon as you have a diagnosis, you pick up the phone and call an attorney.
Gotcha. And I know a lot of people don't think about that because they're thinking, what the heck do I do now? It's a tough one. So what legal documents should every caregiver have in place as early as possible? I know of a durable power of attorney. There's a healthcare power of attorney. I know what the HIPAA authorization is, a living will I know. What's an advance directive?
Well, you're right about those 5 documents you just mentioned. Those are all very important documents for various reasons. I'll get to the advance directives in a second, but just to kind of expand upon what you had just discussed. So the durable power of attorney, that's the document that lets someone step in and handle financial and legal matters on behalf of a loved one. And I want to flag some specific things in Florida. There's a statute here for powers of attorney, which requires that certain superpowers, the initial, that's things for like gift giving or creating trust, doing Medicaid planning. Those powers have to be expressively written into the document and initialed by the principal in order for the agent to undertake those powers. Okay. A generic power of attorney that has been downloaded offline or done by an out-of-state attorney probably is not going to cut it. The healthcare surrogate, again, very similar to the durable power of attorney, it's just allowing you to give a power to a loved one to make medical decisions and get healthcare information about you when you can't. The HIPAA authorization, similarly, is allowing family members or loved ones to talk to doctors on your behalf and getting healthcare information about you. And then the living will is actually synonymous with the term advance directives. And so that document is what your loved one's going to want when it comes to life-prolonging treatment, artificial nutrition, and those kinds of end-of-life decisions. It takes the burdens off of the family. And without that document in place, what will happen is doctors, hospitals, nurses, they're going to try to keep you alive by all means necessary. And unfortunately, that tends to lead to negative results. You know, if someone's in a coma and they're laying there for months on end, they're developing bed sores, and that's never a good thing. They're very painful. So without the living will or the advance directive in place, the hospital is going to take every measure necessary to keep you alive whether it be artificially or not. And most people that I've spoken to don't want to be kept alive artificially if it's only artificially prolonging their life.
Mm-hmm.
There are other documents too, like trusts, revocable trusts and wills and things like that. Those are very important to have. Those control things like probate. A revocable trust is going to avoid probate. The will is going to have your assets go through probate. So those are also very important documents. They all sort of round out a comprehensive estate plan, if you will.
Gotcha. Now, what happens if we wait too long and our loved one can no longer sign legal documents?
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And that's where it really gets painful. And I wish more families understood this before they're sitting in my office in crisis mode. So if a loved one of yours loses capacity before any of these documents are signed, and no one has legal authority to act for them, not a spouse, not an adult child, no one, the only path forward is a court petition for a guardianship. And guardianships are expensive. It's slow. In the court, not your family, ultimately decides who's in charge. What people also don't realize is that a guardianship strips your loved ones of their rights, the right to vote, the right to enter a contract, the right to choose where they live, the right to marry. These are all rights. A power of attorney, if signed earlier while they had capacity, would fully preserve. I've seen families spend more on contested guardianship proceedings than they would have spent on a lifetime of legal planning. So my moral of that story is don't let that be your story. Take the precautions, plan ahead of time, and make sure these documents are in place.
Okay, so there's a guardianship, and what's a conservatorship, and then court involvement?
So in Florida, we don't really distinguish between the two the way some other states do. Here in Florida, a guardianship covers both the person and their finances. And in other states, a conservatorship is often specifically used to handle the financial piece. So when you hear of a conservatorship, mainly from other states, they're talking about having control over someone's finances. Here in Florida, the guardianship can incorporate both of those.
Okay. How can families protect assets while still qualifying for Medicaid if long-term care becomes necessary?
That's probably one of the questions I get asked the most. And what I'm about to describe, it's all legal. These are planning tools that Congress has built into the Medicaid system. This is not Medicaid fraud, it's Medicaid planning. Florida Medicaid for nursing home care has strict income and asset requirements, but there are legitimate strategies to address this. The most powerful tool, if you're pre-planning, is a Medicaid asset protection trust. It's an irrevocable trust where assets are transferred into the trust, but they have to survive the 5-year look-back period. So the earlier you act, the more you can protect. As long as you have met the 5-year look-back period, whatever assets you've placed into that asset protection trust, they're all exempt from Medicaid. In addition, married couples in Florida have some strong protections as well. Spouse at home, or the community spouse, as we sometimes call them, can often keep significantly more of the family's assets, which would include the home, a vehicle, IRAs, other assets that aren't qualified assets. Community spouse can keep a large portion of those assets. There are also a lot of other different strategies that we can undertake as attorneys to help people protect their assets and still qualify, not triggering the 5-year look-back window.
What is this 5-year look-back window? What are you talking about?
So Medicaid has this 5-year window where they can look back to see if there have been assets that have been gifted or transferred for less than fair market value. If you have transferred assets for less than fair market value within 5 years of you needing Medicaid, that transfer is going to be counted against you.
So you don't hide money or move money before you qualify.
Correct. I've unfortunately seen situations where a child has a joint bank account with mom or dad, and it's mom or dad's account, right? Just used for paying bills. That's why the child's on it. And what I have seen people say to me is, well, I'll just transfer the money out of that account to my name because they think they're on the account, that they can do that. Unfortunately, that doesn't work.
I got you.
It will actually do more harm than good.
So it's in a way, it's a protection for the government and Medicaid, and in another way, it's a protection for the individual, so they don't mess around with it.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
It's there to protect the government. It's there to protect individuals and families. You have to do it right. That's the main issue. It's really the only way to do that is by talking to an elder law attorney.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of the biggest legal mistakes you're seeing that caregivers are making? Then one, is it because they don't know any better, or is it just making mistakes?
I think you're absolutely right. I think that they just don't know. The biggest mistakes that I see, again, it all sort of ties back to not knowing how to do things and how things work. But the first mistake I see is waiting too long. And that's by far the biggest one.
Mm-hmm.
By the time the families feel the urgency to do something, it's probably too late. That's why it always makes sense to pre-plan, to talk to an attorney, to have a plan in place in case something does go wrong down the road. The second thing I see a lot of is people using generic powers of attorney, like something that was downloaded off of the internet, or having non-attorneys drafting these documents for people. Even out-of-state powers of attorney sometimes drafted aren't going to adequately cover somebody in Florida. Like I mentioned earlier, those specific superpowers, those have to be initialed in order for a family member to have authority to undertake those things. Without them, it's a big, big problem. One of the biggest things I see is not allowing the agent to create trusts, specifically a qualified income trust. If someone needs a qualified income trust, and they have not given their agent the ability to create one of those, they're not going to receive Medicaid. A qualified income trust is absolutely necessary for someone whose income exceeds the monthly requirements. Okay. Without that qualified income trust language in the power of attorney, someone's not getting it.
What is the income level for that?
For an individual, the monthly income cannot exceed, in 2026 that is, cannot exceed $2,982.
Okay.
Another thing I see is people commingling funds. I just mentioned earlier a child being on mom or dad's bank account. The child thinks that might be a way around Medicaid. It's not. So they can't transfer money to themselves from mom or dad. That's going to trigger the look-back penalty. It kind of ties into the next thing I wanted to address. It's making gifts or transfers without understanding those Medicaid look-back rules. Somebody might be innocently transferring money from mom or dad, but unfortunately, when something is transferred for less than fair market value, it's going to trigger the 5-year look-back. And that, in most instances, is going to be very costly. It could either delay someone's Medicaid application, or it could wind up completely disqualifying them from Medicaid, which could cost somebody hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, and then I also see issues too where I've got a husband and wife, and they have something what they call sweetheart wills, which is basically a will that says that whenever I pass, whatever's in my estate will just have it go to my wife or my husband, whoever passes first. But if one of the spouses is receiving Medicaid benefits, they can't inherit anything. And so there should be language in someone's will or someone's trust directing that any assets going to a surviving spouse actually go into a trust for their benefit and not to them directly. Lots of things to consider.
Yeah, I just heard that the other day from somebody because I asked a particular question and they kind of hemmed and hawed. Now everything makes sense to me. I got it. Wow.
Yeah.
And if somebody goes and applies for Medicaid and they don't get it, then they're really kind of stuck. And if they don't have the resources to put somebody in a home or home care or any of that.
Yeah, you're right. I have a number of clients who have tried to put the Medicaid application in themselves, and it's been denied for one reason or another. And that's when they contact me to help them with the process. And, you know, when I have consultations with clients in those situations, I see exactly what the issues are and tell the clients how we address them. And once those issues are addressed and all the planning has been done properly and legally, of course, we submit the application and the loved one gets onto Medicaid in relatively short order.
Now, how does Alzheimer's affect estate planning differently than, say, other illnesses, transplant or heart attack or cancer?
Well, with most serious illnesses, like you had just mentioned, cancer and heart disease, the body is what's deteriorating and the mind of the person stays sharp until very late. But with Alzheimer's, it's in the reverse.
Right.
The mind goes first, and that's exactly what legal planning depends on. Somebody has to be able to understand the documents they're signing. Without that legal capacity, they legally cannot sign anything. So when we're planning against a ticking clock like capacity, it's very important to take care of that in the early stages. Ideally, most people come and talk to an attorney before there's any kind of diagnosis. But I still think even in an early stage Alzheimer's diagnosis, most people, from what I can tell, tend to still have capacity. Now, again, the disease tends to move quicker through some individuals, so you really can't wait. But obviously, when I have a conversation with a client or a client's family about their capacity, I'm asking questions and I'm sort of doing my due diligence to make sure the person does have capacity in order to sign documents. And if they don't, then I'm unfortunately having to recommend that the family go through a guardianship to have the legal authority based on a court's order, giving them the authority to act.
There's a lot to know. There really is. And that's why I'm glad I was able to get you to come on with us, because I know for a lot of people, a lot of them have no clue. This information is valuable. What should caregivers know about protecting themselves legally when managing a loved one's finances?
Well, when you step in as someone's agent under a power of attorney, you have a fiduciary obligation to the principal. So you become a fiduciary. And that's a legal word that means you're obligated to act in their best interest.
Okay.
Not yours, not the family's, theirs. And if you don't, you can be held personally liable for your action. So you always have to be making sure that whatever you are doing, however you are acting in that principal's best interest. And my practical advice would be to keep records of everything that you're doing financially for them, making every deposit, withdrawal, every bill you pay. Treat it like you're going to have to show a judge one day, because in contested situations, you might. You shouldn't commingle funds. Keeping your accounts completely separate from yours is obviously going to be the most ideal thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're being paid to provide care, which you're entitled to do, you should have some kind of caregiver agreement in place, especially if you're going to be doing that for Medicaid planning. Undocumented payments make it look like these are gifts or transfers that are trying to avoid the 5-year look back.
So what's one thing you wish every caregiver understood about the legal side of Alzheimer's? If you had to sit down with somebody, what would you say to them?
There's a quote from Benjamin Franklin that touches on what you're talking about. And that quote is, by failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail.
That's a good one.
Gosh, I mean, I'd say a lot, but I think that time's the enemy here. Everything we've talked about today, the powers of attorney, the trust, the Medicaid planning, all of it only works while your loved one has legal capacity. And Alzheimer's takes that away gradually, without warning and without giving you a clear signal that the window's closing. And I'd want to say this, acting early is not giving up. It's not morbid. It's probably the most loving thing and most protective thing a family can do for someone to care about. It goes beyond the legal documents. While your loved one is still here, still themselves, capture that. Record their voice, write down their stories, preserve their memories. And the firm that I'm a partner of, we've actually built a platform to help families do this exactly. It's called mylifefolio.com, mylifefolio.com. Everything about someone goes into a secure place, memories, personal history, things they want their family to always have. The people they choose can access it from anywhere through a protected email-based system. Legal documents preserve someone's wishes on paper. And this platform that we've built, mylifefolio.com, helps people preserve who they actually are. So my answer to the question, in short, is don't wait. For the legal planning and for everything else, I've never once had a family tell me they wished they had waited longer. Not one.
How would somebody get a hold of you if they wanted to talk some more?
They can visit our website. The website is zachfreylaw.com. That is ZACFREYLAW.com. Or they can contact our office by phone at 239 888-345-4545.
Very good. Well, I appreciate your time today and your knowledge, which is very good. You've been very helpful, and I hope that people appreciate what you've done.
Of course, and I appreciate you having me on, Jeff. Thanks so much.
When we come back, what's new with Alzheimer's with Dr. John Huffaker.
We'll be right back to Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
Every day, I talk with people who say, I don't feel as sharp as I used to. My energy is low. My memory worries me. Hi, I'm Peggy Sealfon, board-certified health coach and caregiver. I share patented science-backed technology supporting your body's natural repair, helping improve sleep, cognition, and vitality. Learn more at liveyoungertoday.com. liveyoungertoday.com.
This is Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers. What's new in Alzheimer's with John Huffaker.
All right, John. Rick from Florida wants to know, I'm only in my early 50s, and I've found that I have an APOE4 gene. Do you have any advice on what I can do to protect myself from having that turn into Alzheimer's?
Yeah, this is something that's going to become more and more prevalent because there's more discussion, there's more people getting their APOE genetic testing done. And then when you come up with that answer, yeah, okay, you have the APOE4 gene, you do have a higher risk of developing Alzheimer's, but what do you do about it? I think the good thing is a lot of the research that we're focusing on is earlier intervention. So I think what's going to happen is, say somebody like this, for Rick, is in his early 50s, I think in relatively a small number of years, we will actually have a way of treating or managing people that are APOE positive and don't even have any symptoms yet. So I don't know if there's anything huge they have to do. I say clean living is always better than bad living, meaning, you eat relatively healthy, make sure you're sleeping correctly, make sure you're managing yourself medically. Outside of that, there isn't anything hugely you have to do, but I think that medicine is going to adjust and we'll have options for individuals like Rick.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we'll shine the light on the June Spotlight, and then we'll look at our resources. Alzheimer's and dementia bring many challenges, but you don't have to face them alone. The Dubin Center offers free services to support caregivers and families with over 30 monthly support groups, workshops, online resources, and personalized one-on-one consultations. They provide education, connection, and guidance to help you navigate caregiving. At the Dubin Center, no one faces dementia alone. Visit DubinCenter.com today. Our resources are very important. If you're not sure where to turn or how to connect, we'll be here to help bring you trusted resources. Reach out to the Dubin Center at DubinCenter.com. Then there is the Neuropsychiatric Research Center. Find them at www.nprc-southwestflorida.com and Heart, Body, and Mind Home Care at hbmhomecare.com. And you can check out the Alzheimer's Support Network at alcsupport.org. And to find your local chapter of the Alzheimer's Association, you can visit their website or call their toll-free hotline at 1-800-272-3900. They also offer an outstanding resource called Dementia Care Navigation, powered by Ripple and the Alzheimer's Association. It provides free personalized dementia care, including a dedicated care navigator and tailored resources for caregivers and people living with dementia. You can get connected by calling 855-271-2662. That's 855-271-2662 to get connected. We also mention the Guide program frequently. It's another excellent resource that provides help and respite care, and it's free. You can search for it online or visit Dr. Perry's HealthSpan Partners at https://healthspansouthwestflorida.com. Another resource worth checking out is Aquilane Clinical Research at aquilaneresearch.com. And here's another one, the Alzheimer's Support Network at https://support.network. Our website is gutpunch.com, and the email address is gutpunchedac@outlook.com or jeff@gutpunch.com. And thank you to each and every one of you who has taken the time out of your busy, stressful day as a caregiver to listen. We truly appreciate it. You're helping to grow our podcast and its impact for caregivers. Thanks for joining us. And if today gave you even a little hope, hold on to it. God bless.
This has been Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers, with your host, Jeff Edwards. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to us on all the platforms, like Spotify, Apple, Pandora, Podbean, and more. If you have a question or want to get in touch with us, our email is gutpunchedac@outlook.com or jeff@gutpunched.com. Caregivers, you don't have to do this alone.
I've been gut punched by the weight of that call. I've been gut punched when you don't know me at all. I've been gut punched as your memories fade away. Yeah, I've been gut punched. I wish there was another. That hollow feeling deep inside when the doctor says the truth. No cure waiting on the other side, just time we're gonna lose. But I won't run from what's ahead. I won't let you fall apart. Even when your mind lets go, you'll still have my heart. Now it's slipping day by day. You're losing pieces of your world, and I'm begging them to stay. If the day comes you don't remember me, it breaks me in two. But I'll still be right here, like I've always been for you. I know it's not your fault, it's this disease we fight, but you're still my everything that will never change in life. I've been gut punched, yeah, it cuts me to my soul. I've been gut punched, watching pieces of you go. I've been gut punched, but I won't let you face this alone. Even when you're lost in the dark, you still have a You were a gift from our God above, still the best part of my life. Through the worst of all these days, I'm still grateful you're my wife. We didn't choose this road we're on, but I choose you every day. Through every broken memory, I'm not walking away. You gave me love that built this life, and a daughter to carry your light. I can feel you still inside, even lost in this fight. And when the world you knew is gone and nothing feels the same, I'll be your memory, your voice, calling out your name. I've been gut punched, but love don't fade away. I've been gut punched, still I'm choosing you each day. Through the silence, through the pain, through the fear we can't outrun. You may forget the life we built, but I'll remember enough for two. No, I won't forget, not a single one. I still choose you. You're still the one. You're still the one.